Hi, ladies. This is your girl, Camille Sheppard-Parrish, the Healthy Love Coach. And I want to make sure you can hear me. So I'm going to do a quick sound check to make sure I'm loud and clear and that you can hear me. So just bear with me while I do my sound check. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I'm getting ready to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure it's near and dear to each one of your hearts. And I want to really talk about this topic. A couple of people just got my email and they want to join the group, I guess, to hear the session. So let me approve them so that they can join us today. And then I want to make sure you can hear me by listening on my other page. So just give me one moment. Girl, Camille Sheppard-Parrish, the Healthy Love Coach. Okay, so you can hear me. And so we're going to rock and roll. We're going to rock and roll out on this. So I want to welcome all of you who have joined. Please invite your friends. So right now you can't share this video outside of the group because it's a private group, okay? So what's going to happen is later on today, I'm going to download the video, probably put it on YouTube, and then you'll be able to share it with your friends. But today I wanted to talk about a topic that's, I keep hearing women ask me over and over again. Number one, how do I know when I'm getting played by my boyfriend or my man friend or by just men in general? So many women are out there dating in today's world and they really don't know if they're getting played or not. Sometimes they really can't tell if a guy is into them. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how do you know if you're getting played? And then I'm going to, even before I dive into that, I'm going to dive into a little bit about why people get played. And then I'm going to talk to you about how you can learn more about not getting played in our upcoming retreat. A lot of people have been inboxing me, asking me about the upcoming retreat. As you all know, I recently, and as I do every year, towards the end of the retreat, when we only have just a few spots left, when we get closer to the retreat, I open up the weekend for those who may not be able to get off of work, but they want to come to the retreat. So we have now opened it up so that if you want to come, you can come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you can't check in Friday all day, and you're going to just check in Friday night, inbox me because the price is even a little bit different than the one I've published for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the reason why is because Friday we spent all day at the spa, and if you're not going to get that spa treatment, I will deduct that from your retreat. I don't charge. I don't make a profit off of the retreat. Everything we do goes to you because I really care. And I'm going to talk to you today about why I care so much and why I'm concerned, because I see so many women getting played, which is why I do what I do for two reasons. One, I'm sick and tired of watching women get played all over the world. And then number two is that I want you to heal. I want you to restore healthy love from the inside out. I recognize that so many of us have had some kind of traumatic issue or thing that has happened to us in our childhood. And it's very important. Even Oprah says, if you're not working on the trauma, you're working on the wrong thing. So I really want to encourage women to focus on the trauma. We'll talk about that maybe in another session I'll have later on this week, focusing more on the trauma. But it is super important to focus on that and to do your work in that area. And the reason why is because if you don't focus on your trauma, it can lead to things like getting played by men, right? Because the most common reason that I find for why women get played so easily and so often is because of your needs. We have this deep desire to be with someone, to be loved, to feel special, to want to connect with someone, right? And so, I mean, that's human nature. That's natural. That's how we were created, right? Especially for those who are Bible readers and God believers, you know that God created Adam and Eve, right? So he created us for the sole purpose of having a mate. We got other things that we do, but you know what I mean. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why we have this desire to be in a relationship with people is with a man, is because this is how we were created, right? And so we have this strong desire. And then for those of us who have had some type of trauma, we may even have even a little bit more desire because of that void that we feel because of those unmet needs from our childhood trauma, perhaps our daddy issue, or maybe we were raped or molested, and we've had some type of things that have happened to us that caused us not to be loved, not to feel loved, not to know that we're loved or even enough, right? And so we have this empty place and we have this strong desire to prove that we're enough, to prove that we're lovable, to prove that we're worthy, that we're valuable, right? And we have this strong need for that to happen. And guess what? Players are aware that you're in need. They're aware. Now, men, let me tell you something. Men are smart, and they're getting smarter and smarter, right? We think that we're up leveling our game and our education and stuff, and while we are, right? We are getting educated in many things, getting our master's, our PhD, and all kinds of degrees and certification, right? And we might be leading men in that area, but when you think about it, the one area that we don't focus on when we get our education is the area of romance and love. Many of us hesitate and we don't even know where to get an education on love and romance and relationships, right? This is the exact reason why I created the Get Mr. Right University, because I wanted women to have a place, right? Educated, smart, sophisticated, spiritual women to have a place to come learn about love and relationships, right? And so that's why I started that organization, because players are aware that women who have been hurt, women who have not dealt with their trauma, women who don't even know they have some ish or know that they are need or maybe needy or desperate or don't feel that they're enough, players are aware of this. And players know how to fill your specific need, right? Because they pay attention, they listen. And what do we do as women? We talk, 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 talk. And we give men the blueprint to break our heart, right? And guess what? Players pay attention, right? And they pay attention to what you're saying. They learn more about what your specific need is. They know what you're looking for in a man because you tell them your wish list, your man's wish list, all the things you're looking for in a man, right? You tell him all these things and he is paying attention, right? He's paying attention to your core needs, the thing that you really, really want in life, right? He's paying attention to your need for sex, your need for affection. He knows that you want attention, you want to be loved. He knows that you want security, and he knows that you want to be romanced, you want to be taken out, you want to be wined and dined, you want to feel good. He knows that you want to feel like you're on top of the world, right? He knows that you have these feelings, and guess what? As an educated, smart, successful, powerful boss woman, he also knows that you want your freedom. You don't want to be controlled and shackled down, held back by a man. So he's really aware of all of that, right? And so what happens to us, you know what happens? What happens when Mr. Player enters the game, so suave, sophisticated, sexy, and smelling good. You know what happens to us? He's patient. A man will wait. You ever had that friend who you've been in and out of relationships and he's just sitting there still being your friend, patiently waiting, right? He'll wait as long as he needs to wait to have an opportunity to open up the cookie jar, right? And so men are very patient. Unlike us as women, we want things now. We want things our way, right? And we don't want to compromise. Men are very patient. They're willing to wait and watch and see how things turn out. They're willing to listen. They're willing, and then what they do is kind of regurgitate all the things that you say to them back in a manly way, right? And what happens is our needs start to be met. Once he understands what your need is, he begins to start to fill your needs, right? And what happens? What happens to each and every one of you, and me, even in the past, is why I'm here to help you, right? What happens is that once he starts showing up and showing out, right? especially the first 90 days or the first couple of months, he's on time, he calls, he texts, he has all these sweet romantic things to say, right? He's rock shocking your world, sending flowers. He's doing all of these things, right, to show that he's your Mr. Right, right? And what happens is once he starts paying attention to your needs, and he starts fulfilling your needs, and he starts giving you that feel good feeling. Now, ladies, I've already talked to you about how you feel when you start kissing a man, right? Right. So even before he gets to that stage, if he's paying for a meal, taking you out to lunch or dinner, paying for things or sending you a gift or flowers, right? We're paying attention, right? And then we get to that point where we say, oh, you know, he's done pretty good so far, probably far better than any man I've had. And then what happens is that we say, I think he deserves a kiss. So I'm going to give him a kiss, right? But what happens, we think that we are rewarding him with a kiss. And what we're really doing is causing us to start to get attached, connected, and addicted, right? Because when you kiss a man, what fires off in your body is oxytocin. And those who have been in my community for quite some time, you know that oxytocin is the cuddle chemical that really happens when a mother and child are bonding through nursing, right? This is what makes that relationship happen. This is what makes that bond so tight. And so when you kiss a man, oxytocin is firing off all in your body. And guess what? You're bonding to that man just like a baby bonds to his mother. And you know how tight that bond is. And so you start to feel like you're in love. You start to feel like you're floating. You start to feel like you can't live without this guy, all because of a kiss. Go check out my blog, CamilleSheppard.com/blog. And I wrote an article some time ago that talks about a kiss is not just a kiss. You can get more information on that. But you start to get addicted. What happens next, right? We're still loosening our guard, letting our guard down, letting him into our heart. For those of us who had those walls up, we've been tough women, right? We don't let men in too often. We start to let down our guard, right? We start to invite him over a little bit, right? And then what happens next, right? For some of you that are into that type of thing, you know, sex before marriage or sex too soon or whatever, all of that happens, right? And then when you do have sex with a man, what happens is dopamine is firing off in your body. Dopamine is dope, right? Do you know how many people are addicted to dope? Do you know how many centers are set up to help people to no longer rely on dope? Dope is a very powerful drug, and we have this naturally in our body. And ladies, if you didn't know this before, you need to know that when you have sex and you have an orgasm, what happens is that dopamine is released into your body, and all of a sudden you're addicted to this guy. Totally, right? He can do no wrong, because all you're looking for is what? The same as a drug dealer. You're looking for your next fix, right? So you can't wait till he comes around, even if he's now slacking, not calling you as frequently as he used to. You're just waiting for your next fix, and you may not be paying attention so closely to the fact that he's slacking off. You stop paying attention to the red flags that I teach you about. You're not paying attention to that. You're not paying attention to his behavior. You're still just now chasing that high and watching some of it, listening to the things that he's saying. And as I always say, stop listening to the things that he's saying. Start fact checking. Pay attention to his behavior. You know, when he starts to tell you things, make sure they jive, make sure they make sense, make sure they are in harmony with his actions. And if not, you need to call him on his crap, or better yet, just walk away, because guess what? When you go back to call him on his crap, he's going to have some suave story. He's going to have some sugar-coated words, and then he's going to touch you in that place you just love to be touched. And then what happens then is that you now go in for another round of sex, And that seems to make all of the pain, the irritation, the questions in your mind, the doubt, the red flags, all of that stuff seems to dissipate. You don't see those things anymore, right? Because now your needs are being met. And what's happening is that your needs are more important to you than paying attention to what's really happening in your reality. And what actually happens is because this guy might be your ideal man, your ideal Mr. Right, because he's demonstrated some of the behavior, he's regurgitated some of the things you've told him, he's acted out in the way that you've already defined that your Mr. Right would act out in. And so now you're not paying attention so much to those red flags, right? For some of us, it's a lack of knowledge, right? We just don't know. We're naive. For some of us, we didn't have a father in our life. Some of us are not really in community with other women. So we really don't know. Some of us don't have a coach or a mentor like your girl, Camille Sheppard-Parrish, the Healthy Love Coach, to have your back and explain these things to you, right? And so what happens is that you continue to fall victim because of your wants, your needs, your desires that's so strong inside of you, that's usually connected to some kind of trauma you've had in your life that you have never solved, right? You've never solved these. So what happens is that we look amazing on the outside, but inside we're still broken, little girl. And if we haven't done our work, the longer we go, the more broken we can become. And it doesn't have anything to do with how you look, how you show up, how much education you have. It has to do with your emotional intelligence. It has to do with the status of your heart. So that's what we're talking about, right? It has to do with this thing inside of your heart called desire, right? That's exactly what it has to do. But this is really a dangerous place because what happens is that you can really cause yourself a lot of damage, right? You can cause yourself to be on an emotional roller coaster, up and down, not knowing what's the truth or what's the lie, right? And because your needs might be getting fulfilled, right? And maybe they haven't been filled for so long, right? You start to weigh the pros and cons of your current situation to your past loneliness or potential future loneliness, and you stay stuck in that situation because you don't want to deal with that loneliness again. You don't know if you can find anyone better or just as good as him, right? And so now you become stuck in a situation. And like I said, this is dangerous, right? And so it can really ultimately cause you to feel that you're not worth it. You're not valuable. You're not deserving of good love. And especially if this guy, this player dude, he ends up being a narcissist, he can really start to rip away your self-esteem, cause you to feel like you're not worth it, that, even though you're educated and smart, you're really, really, really not valuable, right? And then this causes you to have these conversations in your head. Let me give you a few signs of a player so that you can be crystal clear. I want you to walk away, grab your pens, grab your paper so that you're really crystal clear. I'm going to go through these really quick. The video will be out here and I'll post it on YouTube later so that you guys can have it to refer to. But number one, when you meet a guy, if he seems like that perfect dude, especially after a few dates and you've had diarrhea of the mouth and you've told him everything you want and you gave him the blueprint to break your heart, and now all of a sudden he seems like the perfect guy, but all of your friends are saying, honey, he's not. Pay attention. Look at the signs. He's cheating. He has a wife. He has a girlfriend. You've never been to his job, and you just start feeling so connected and bonded to him in a short period of time. Pay attention, because this might be a sign that he's not your Mr. Right, right? He might even claim that he's fallen in love with you. Girl, I've been looking for you my whole life. Every time we're not together, I'm thinking about you. I can't wait to be with you. You're the one. And then he starts talking about things in an abstract way. I can't wait until I get married. He never says we. I can't wait until I get married and have some children. It's going to be off the chain. But we heard we, even though he said I, right? You know, he might be calling you and texting you all the time, pumping you up, right? And he might even try to pump you up and make you feel powerful and like you are the bomb.com in the beginning, right? And then you may feel that he really is in love with you because you can't fathom why would anyone play with my emotions like this, right? And then you start thinking, God, wow, I found my Mr. Right, right? That's what we start feeling, right? So just realize that these signs are signs that you are potentially being played. Right. So be sure to pay attention, right? If he's doing too much way too soon and he doesn't even know you, you need to pay attention, right? Love at first sight can happen, doesn't always happen, not impossible, but be smart, okay? Next thing I want to talk to you about, number 2, is pay attention to his availability. How often is he available? Are you his Friday night chick, his Thursday night chick, his Saturday night chick? Can he only call you, you know, when he's on his way to work or walking the dog or, you know, some late time at night? Can he only call you during those times and maybe on the weekend and, oh, wow, his job has him so busy and, you know, he's studying so hard for school and his grandmama and them is sick and always got a story going on, some reason why you're not a priority, although step number 1 said you were the priority. Step number 2 says, I'm a little bit busy, but you are my woman, right? So those even 1 and 2 right there should let you know that there's some type of problem. But what happens is that we make excuses. Oh yeah, his job is so busy. He has an important job, right? And we never really pay attention or even fact check. He might not even have a job, right? Number 3, if 1 minute he's loving you and the next minute he's don't have time for you, and they call that running hot and cold, right? 1 minute he wants to be with you and the next minute he doesn't. Right? Here comes a holiday or some family time and he doesn't have time over the weekend. And now here comes Monday and he's calling you again, right? Hot and cold, right? 1 minute he's on, he's making passionate love, wanting to be with you. And the next minute you see him in the street, he's like acting like he doesn't know you, right? So he's running hot and cold. That is a sign that you're getting played. That's another sign, right? So really, I always tell the women in my organization, set your expectation a little bit lower. Don't go into the relationship expecting every relationship to be the relationship. Dating is a process. Dating is something that you do until you find the one you want to be with forever. Dating is not something that you do one time and you find your Mr. Right, maybe years ago, but now you need to really pay attention, vet the situation, and make sure the relationship that you're in is a good relationship. I'm going to go to 2 and 3 really quick because I got to jump on a call. 4 is they don't take you in public. They want to watch Netflix in the house. So that's a sign that something is really going on, is that you're the house boo. They want to cook dinner for you and all of that stuff, but they really don't want to take you out. So that's a sign that you're getting played. The final sign is that you don't really know anything about them, their family, their job, where they work, their real life, what's really going on. You haven't met anybody, you haven't been anywhere. And so these are signs. This is a sign that you're getting played. And so ladies, if you want to learn more about this, I want to invite you to reach out to me and take advantage of what I have coming up for you for the retreat. What I have coming up is you can now come to the retreat. I'm going to be talking more about this topic. I'm going to have some good friends, my whole expert staff there to really go into do a deep dive with this. We're going to really be talking more with you about how you can recognize this. The retreat for the weekend is a reduced cost. And I want to invite you to click on the link and join me. And I'll come back on and talk to you a little bit more about why our retreat is way different than anyone else's. Take care. Bye.